Welcome, dear listeners, to another exciting episode of the Thought Resonant Show. Today, we have with us Bethany. She is a licensed mental health counselor and somatic meditation coach. With over 22 years of clinical experience and 12 years guiding somatic meditation, she empowers clients to heal deeply, moving from therapy dependence towards inner transformation through embodied practices. So, without further ado, let's welcome Bethany to our podcast. Welcome, Bethany, to our show.
Thank you so much for having me, Saurav. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Great to have you today with us. And first of all, very excited to know about how your journey got started and what inspired you to combine traditional mental health counseling with somatic meditation coaching. Tell us more.
Yes, so early on in my career as a counselor, I had a couple challenges come up, and it put me on track for finding solutions. So the two main challenges I had, one was just feeling like the methods and techniques I was taught in therapy school to help clients was just not enough. I just felt like it wasn't impacting enough. And so that really started my journey of like, what really works? What really helps? And along that path, I also had daily headaches working as a counselor. And so I was looking for my own solutions around that. And somatic meditation ended up coming onto the scene to help me with my headaches. And it ended up being like the model that I was seeking for whole healing for my clients. Bringing that work into my daily practice with clients, for the ones that were ready to kind of go deeper, it really opened up a huge healing movement for them. And I got really inspired by that, and just it put me on that path of like, how can I keep bringing this into the work?
Awesome. So, moving forward, would love to know how does somatic meditation facilitate healing in ways that talk about therapy alone cannot?
Yes. One of the biggest differences is that, talk therapy, it relies on the mind processing the thoughts and emotions, and it doesn't go into the body and look at what the body has to bring to the table for processing emotions, processing thoughts, and other things that the body holds on to that needs to be dealt with. And so with somatic meditation, that's the big difference, is it drops the client into their body and processes on a deeper level all the trauma, all the experiences, and helps them to move past those pieces that have been holding them back to access the rich healing that is underneath that. So it's deep, and it's comprehensive, that process.
Understood. Can you walk us through the difference between bioenergetics, somatic, and inquiry meditation practices? What does this, first of all, explain these terms to us and how do they differ from each other?
Yes, absolutely. So the bioenergetics is the taking of two or more energy sensations or emotions felt in the body and connecting or stretching them. It works through this like stress, anxiety, and it also helps with pain management. So bioenergetics is good for that. So I would see bioenergetics like the first step into deeper work. It's like the stretching before the long marathon run. And then somatic meditation is an active style of meditation, and it's engaging the mind in the meditation to connect with the different energy, emotion, and sensations, to process it and shift it, and then be able to drop underneath that to the healing substances that lie under the barriers and activate those substances naturally for healing in the body. And when a person connects to those healing substances, they do expand in the body. And there are multiple different kinds of healing substances living in the body that each have their own language and signature sensations, colors, and I teach those in my group meditation work. And then inquiry meditation is the practice of improving self-awareness and conscious intelligence. And so in the inquiry, you would ground, ask a question, an open-ended question, and just sit quietly listening to your body give an answer. And the direction of the question does matter, helps to speed up receiving intuitive information. So asking either the gut, the heart, or the personal space around you, and listening to one or all three of those places. And people are surprised how that they can get some immediate answers from one or more of those directions. Inquiry meditation supports like navigating life transitions, daily stressors, and so it's really supportive part of the work I do with clients and teaching others the work.
Awesome. So, how have you seen meditation shift patterns of stress, anxiety, or trauma in your clients?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen basic grounding meditation can quickly shift clients in their stress, anxiety, and just quickly shift that out. But for using somatic meditation, it's a deeper processing and it is a delicate matter, especially for clients with trauma. So it requires a therapist to have skills in the grounding, the breath work, the somatics to really safely move and work with a client who might be dissociating from their body. And so that's a delicate matter. You know, trauma causes people to disconnect from the body, but somatic meditation, you would think it to be a perfect solution because you're connecting with yourself and your body, but it is a delicate matter because that's where all the trauma memories live. So you got to be kind of delicate with that. Clients really need to be ready to do that work. And I do offer that training for therapists to add that into their work. Somatic meditation works with every layer of the body, defensiveness, resistance, and it's a great alternative also for medication for depression. In fact, I highly recommend therapists that work a lot with, chronic depression, complex trauma to consider training in somatic meditation because it is a great alternative to medication, long-term solution.
Awesome. So, in your experience, how does the body hold emotional pain and how can we learn to release it more effectively?
Yes, great question. The body stores trauma as condensed energy blockages, and it can be experienced, the person can experience these blocks as a sensation of cold, a heavy weighting, a weightedness, a constriction, a pain, a soreness around the area, a physical impact if they had physical trauma. But if it's like more emotional wounds and traumas, they tend to get stored. Those sensations and constrictions get stored more in the chest. And it can feel just like constricted, tight, soreness, sharp, or heavy weighted. And we can learn to release emotional pain through presencing those difficult sensations in combination with relaxation and space. You'll notice something shift when those two pieces are brought together, the presencing in combination with relaxing and spaciousness. And the tension loosens and the energy around it moves. And so that is just kind of a snapshot of how somatic releases the trauma.
And what are some safety practices you would recommend for those who need to deep somatic work?
There are a couple different safety practices. Those who are new to or considering doing deep somatic work, it is more of an advanced healing practice, and it's safe to do when you are ready. So it should also be guided by somebody licensed, experienced, trained to use it. I think the safety piece primarily is the timing of stepping into doing the work. It would feel like in the context of it. So for example, it would feel pretty overwhelming, scary, or like confusing for a person to do that who's using substances, or a person who isn't ready to step into deep somatic work might be somebody who just needs talk therapy for a little bit. They're struggling to maybe show up consistently to sessions. They're just not ready to dive deep. In general, though, when a person is ready, the safety practice I recommend is a daily grounding and self-care maintenance, like nature walks, going to the gym, or practicing yoga regularly. This daily self-care really puts them in balance for working deeply with somatics, because in that somatic work, you're doing a lot of shifting in the body with the energy and the sensations. It also shifts their sense of self and identity. So it's important to have a daily practice maintenance.
Would you like to share a breakthrough moment where meditation just unlocked transformation in one of your clients' life?
In the work I do with somatic meditation, there are daily transformations happening that clients experience, and I call them mini transformations. For example, a client reacted to somatic meditation as if I was a magician. And took her pain away. So she was feeling some constriction in her chest, and I guided her through presencing the sensation and being aware of just where she felt relaxation as well, and presencing those 2 points. And less than a minute, the constriction just disappeared, lifted for her. And she looked at me very surprised and was like, "How did you do that?" So that, I refer to that as a mini transformation. A client over the course of their work with somatics will experience dozens of mini transformations, but then at points along the healing journey, they recognize something they hadn't before, which is unlocking an identity or reality shifting experiences. So these mini transformations add up to seeing the self in this other point in place, where then they have this life-changing breakthrough. And this can be just a huge psychological breakthrough. It's felt and experienced as peace and security and confidence and freedom. The true self feels light, free, expansive, motivated, confident. Meditation group members experience these freedom breakthroughs, which is where they feel this reality shifting and this identity shifting. And they just have these aha moments where they're like, my whole life, I've carried this with me my whole life, and I can set it aside now. Like, I don't have to be attached to this anymore type of response, or realizing that their past has been interfering in their ability to move forward and be their self. And so these realizations are life-changing, and it happens on a deep level. That's where the breakthroughs really come through.
Awesome. So, what are you doing next to bring meditation into mental health?
Yeah, I'm doing a couple of different big things. So the somatic meditation is such a game changer for healing mental health issues that I have decided to move less focusing on doing the actual day-to-day client work and more on training. So I'm working at just putting the finishing touches on a training for therapists, where they can use the curriculum once they graduate. It's about a year program. So once they graduate, they can use that curriculum with their own clients who are ready for that work. And I also have a YouTube channel. So the audience that is listening to me and looking at the somatics and going, "Oh, I'm really missing this piece. I really want some more of that type of therapy," then I'm creating a therapy refer service where they can come through and get matched with a therapist that has that training.
Wow,
And so the audience is not going to me, it's going to be getting shared out to the world. So that's what the big piece that I'm offering. And
awesome.
yeah, I'm
This,
excited. I'm excited about that.
yeah.